Hi there, my name is DAMILOLA RAPHAEL. Thank you for making a return to see a fresh package of The Bookshelf live on Western Spring Television. On The Bookshelf, we discuss everything books with everyone who has a relationship with it. Today's keyword is ending. It means an end or final part of something. The last part of a process, especially, is a way in which something stops existing. Ending would also mean conclusion or termination. Let's talk about projects. Project closure is the last stage of a project, when you tie up loose ends, communicate your results, and debrief with your team. The project closure phase officially puts an end to your project and provides a concrete plan for next steps. Whether that's transitioning project ownership to another team, whether that is starting a new project to improve on your work, or whether that is incorporating lessons learned into future projects. You can tailor your project closure process to fit your team's needs, but here are some key steps to include. Run final tests to make sure your project deliverable meets expectations, like testing a feature post-launch to make sure that it is still working, or reviewing your final deliverable with stakeholders. Review your project plan to wrap up loose ends and ensure you haven't forgotten anything. Very important. 3. Complete administrative tasks like updating documentation, finalizing your project budget, and reassigning your resources. That's 4. Communicate notes and next steps to stakeholders. 5. Hold a project post-mortem meeting to review lessons learned and give your team a chance to provide feedback and adjust their processes. Post-mortem, very important. Don't say I'm done and it's dusted. It really may not be dusted, so you should have a post-mortem. And moving on, number 6, circulate a final report that outlines how your project performed relative to its goals. That's the assessment, all right? Now, generally in life, everything that has a beginning has an ending. Just make sure to do the best at every stage with the resources available so that you don't have reasons to want to go back. Instead, you push further with a commitment to outdo your past. Let us push further now. This quick timeout, and our guest will be appearing on your screen on the flip side. You're welcome back. The Bookshelf continues right away with the unveiling of our guest. Kayode Adedire, fondly called Sir K, is an indigene of Iloko, Ijesha, but born in Ghana, where he had his elementary and secondary education. He started his broadcast journalism career in 1973 with the now defunct WNTV WNBS Ibadan. During his professional career, he worked in 7 different broadcasting stations, including NTA Ibadan, BCOS Ibadan, OSBC Osogbo, and Reality Radio Vision Service Iwo, where he retired as the pioneering DJ. Kayode trained as a professional journalist at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism, that's the NIJ, Lagos, Central Office of Information, the COI, London, and Brighton Polytechnic, England. He holds a BA degree in Mass Communication from Ambrose Ali University, Ekoma. Sir K is a recipient of the prestigious Viz News International Award 1985, which afforded him the opportunity of a guided tour of some leading television stations in US, Canada, Germany, France, Switzerland, and England. An author of 4 books and co-author of 2, Kayode is a one-time chairman Caretaker Committee, Oriade Local Government, and a former GM, Unique Radio, Elisha. He is a Jerusalem pilgrim and justice of peace. Dear viewer, please make welcome a quintessential writer and orator, Sir K. Thank you indeed for coming on the bookshelf today, sir.
Thank you, Dami. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you indeed for coming. So, I mean, you have waded so many waters from broadcasting into politics, into writing, and you're retired, but not tired. What has the journey been so far for you like?
Well, to the grace of God, it has been challenging and all the same interesting.
Okay.
Well, I retired about 2011 till now. How many years?
That's on 12 years.
12 years now.
Wow.
I've been in retirement the last 12 years. And I thank God that life in retirement, as fearful as it may sound or it may look like, one has been able to survive the challenges. So to God be the glory.
Your foray into politics, was that after retirement or before retirement? How did you do that?
Did I really go into serious politics?
Okay.
I became chairman of the local government, courtesy of military government at that time. So it wasn't on any political platform. But I must confess that between 2000 and 2003, I took active part in politics.
Okay.
I was a card-carrying member of PDP.
Okay.
Because I got retrenched year 2000 by BCR County government. And when DAMILOLA was campaigning for the election of 2003, he did promise that those retrenched by BCR County will be considered for reabsorption. And I felt it was an opportunity for me to also play my part to get him elected. So I entered partisan politics during that period. But in 2003, when I was reabsorbed and returned to my desk at OSBC, I disengaged myself completely from partisan politics. Okay. So that has been the situation now.
Now, talking about speaking, writing, you seem to be tilted towards the latter, that's writing. Has it always been like that, or it's something you were going to start doing towards the twilight of your service, your years in service, civil service?
Well, I think writing is one of my hobbies. I like writing. I like reading. I discuss a lot, particularly current issues. So these are my areas of which I believe as competence. But when I decided to go into authoring books, and that was year 2000. All right. That 1999, 2000. I had this feeling. Some people continue to tell me that, look, you are putting so much experience. You have gathered so much experience in this profession. You should be able to put something in black and white for contemporaries and people coming behind. So that spurred me to. And what happened was that an elderly colleague of mine, he's now late, as Olu Oshumbo, he wrote one book titled The Professional Journalist. It was full of experiences because he had a lot of experience to share. So I drew some inspiration from that. And I also decided to go into writing a book that will be a kind of textbook. At the same time, it will be professional. People who want to go into broadcast journalism, because I spent all my years in broadcast journalism. I never veered into either press or magazine or whatever. So I restricted myself to what the experiences I had gained at that time. I think when I wrote that book, I was about 27 years old in the profession. So I had a lot to share. And it became a textbook. In fact, some guys use it for their master's program at MCA, at UI, and some people at the Polytechnic. So it became a popular book. Up to now, it is still relevant, except for the statistics, some figures, that are outdated. But in area of experience, how to go about the job, because I domesticated most of what you used to have in foreign land. You know, the local terminology which we use in the newsroom and in the radio newsroom, television newsroom. I brought everything together. So it's a complete book, both for text, I mean for academics, and also for people who want to know how broadcast journalism is all about. So that was the first book. The subsequent ones, the next one was a kind of autobiography.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think about three of your books are about you.
And two are strictly about me. But the third one was somehow my experience in retirement.
Okay.
So the second one was Not Yet Sunset.
Yeah.
Of course, you can aletile. You know, that was when I came back from this retrenchment, and I now record my experiences. Then this next one was In the Twilight. That was the one I wrote to mark my exit from government service. That was when I clocked 60 years. You know, the Not Yet Sunset was when I was 55. You know, so the two are strictly on me. But the one that is this retirement, after spending about 5 years in retirement, when I was 65, I now decided to look back and see how I've been faring, how life has treated me in retirement, and also to educate people who are yet to retire, and all the challenges that go with life in retirement. So I put everything together, and to God be the glory. Some people have found it useful by way of preparing themselves for retirement.
Would you say the retrenchment was a blessing in disguise, preparing you ahead of time?
Apart from preparing, it was a blessing. It was indeed a blessing, but I did not know initially that it would be a blessing. You know, when I was retrenched, I was at the level of substantive director. Now, I became substantive director in 1998. I was retrenched in year 2000. You know, so it pained me because I never expected it. For most people, at the risk of being immodest, most people were surprised that I was one of those who
got retrenched.
Because I believe in myself that I was and I'm still hardworking. I'm very loyal, you know. But when the thing came, it came like as if the whole world had crumbled on. I did not have anything to fall back on. My wife was just a primary school teacher. I had 4 children in primary school, in private school, you know. But I managed it. I struggled. So when Oyinola came and returned me in year 2003, that was in November, having spent 3 years, 10 months without job, you know, I came back to OSBC and I ended up as the next person to the general manager at that time.
Wow.
Those people I left behind, I still met them on that level I left them 3 years and 10 years back. They were still acting deputy. So I became the only substantive director next to the general manager. And along the line, the grace of God started showing. And when I retired as director general. If I had stayed behind, if Akane had not retrenched me, maybe the highest I would have got to was the level of director. Because the 3.5 years or 3 years, 10 months I spent at home were not counted as part of my pensionable years. So I started, and I had additional years for me to rise to the zenith of my profession. So it was a blessing in disguise. Sincerely, it was.
Now, getting others, you know, take for example as students, for example, getting other students to complete group projects is an arduous task. But you seem to make it look like, you know, a walkover. Give us insights, you know, into how you were able to achieve this feat, because you co-authored 2 books. So how did you get to achieve that?
Well, the 2 books were the father and founder of Ejigbo.
Modern Ejigbo.
That was to mark the 70th birthday of Ogiyan, Baba Ogiyan of Ejigbo, Baba Omawanola. And the second one was A Lady by Birth. It was also a biography of late lady evangelist Betty Bakari. that's the senior sister of Governor Inola, senior sister. You know, Mama was then chairperson, Pilgrims Welfare Board. So he commissioned. I was very close. Okay, I'm still close to Ugia.
Okay.
I was very close to Mama when he was alive. So I got that invitation to write a biography on them, and I brought my friends.
Okay. Okay. Great.
So I brought two of my subordinates, two of my colleagues, junior colleagues.
Okay.
That was for the Ugia, Sunday Odedele and Akin Wolabi. So it called for a lot of research. You know, Baba, first class Oba. But the advantage we had was that he voluntarily agreed. We did not ask for it. He said he wanted to mark his 70th birthday, and he needed a kind of biography. So it was something that we went to prostrate and lobby for. No. So he was very forthcoming with the information we needed. You know, at a point he gave us a kind of document which we produced, but about 48 hours to the launching of the book, he discovered that document was incriminating.
Okay.
But it was already part of the book. So then he started wondering, how did we get this document? Baba, you give this document to us. You know, we made the last minute effort to expunge those pages from it. And to God be the glory.
Wow.
At that ceremony of his 70th birthday, it was the book launch that became the highlight of the event. In spite of all the programs lined up by indigenes of Ejigbo, but that book launch became the high point of that ceremony. And we did not encounter much problem by way of getting information because Baba made the necessary contact for us. Those to meet. You know, we had a lot of friends. He has some of them are Akanya Luko, who is dead. Arishekola is dead. Yeah, you know, he connected us with them. I know, so we did not have much problem. But the main thing was that there was proper coordination among us. Okay,
the co-authors.
Yes,
now. Good.
Proper coordination. We understood ourselves and. We did not work at cross purposes, no. And when we got all the facts and the information we needed, we now segmented the book and assigned to ourselves which particular areas will be handled. But my colleagues considered to me the fact, because I was very close to Baba, areas that they believe was a kind of sensitive areas. I handle that. Okay. Just as happened to that of Mama Betty also. You know, because I was very close to Mama, and in area of his marital profile, which was very sensitive, my colleagues avoided that. So I took it up, and I think I was able to make up something that satisfied the two party, Mama and. Because Mama wanted to hide certain things, and I told her that, look, biography is not something you. If you submit yourself to biography, you must be ready to open up. It took me some time to convince her, but he was able to understand me, and he gave us the facts we needed, and it came out fine.
So from what you have said now, getting, to have other people work with you, especially with regards to co-authoring, is being able to first gather the information and then segment. Everybody should agree on gathering information, segment, knowing each person's strong points.
Yes. And you see, the greatest advantage or what one should look for is when you want to make a biography of an individual, you don't induce the person. No. Don't try begging. If you go to that length, you won't get all what you need. But if it is by way of voluntary submission of oneself, if the subject of a biography comes up perfunctorily, as if being forced or being induced, you are not likely to get the best.
Get the best out.
But if it is he or she, that now look, I want biography on me. Come and handle it. You know, it is the best opportunity. Rather than you know, you are aging, you are no, all those things will backfire at the end of the day. You may not get the best. But if the subject really decides, look, I want it, he will afford you with all the necessary information.
And very quickly, let me ask you this, because doing this is business for you. Yeah. Considering even if you had some business you're doing, or you had a day job you were doing, I mean, getting that extra income on this other side of doing an autobiography for somebody should be an added bonus to you, something to make you smile to the bank for. So could you educate us? What are the steps to be taken, especially being a veteran? Okay, so don't go in there expecting all the money and all of that. But then, I mean, money makes you happy too. I mean, you have a family to take care of. You have so many dependents on different angles. You have different commitments as well. So what's the business angle of going into book publishing, being that you've done about 7+ now?
Well, the bottom line is financial reward. I mean, what is the sense of putting in so much effort at the end of the day, making nothing out of it? And you see, experience has shown that it is what you get during book launch, the physical cash you get. That is what you should agree at having come your way. Because most of these promissory notes, they don't become reality. Yes. In fact, at a party, I had an experience. When I had my first book, Inside Broadcast Journalism, I had an elderly man in Ibadan who was a kind of a father figure kind of a relationship, you know. So I now invited him to the launch. He did not come because it was Osogbo. And he said I should come to Ibadan. I'm talking of the year 2000. You know, the man is dead now. You know, so I went there 1 or 2 occasions. Very rich man. I don't want to mention his name. Very rich man. I went to his house. I did not meet him. But the 3rd time I got there, he said, you know. Oh my. It really hurts me. And he said, the office check. You know, I got there. You know, they gave me a check of 5,000 naira. Okay. But when I heard that comment he made, I returned the check. When I turned the check to his staff, they were wondering, Saki, after all that, I don't need it. I don't need it. So, I was and I'm still not a pauper. You know, it because relationship we had. But now look at the way he. So you see, the bottom line is to make some financial gain. Good. But when it comes to biography, the subject is the main issue. You may not have the privilege of knowing people to invite. Okay. He will do the invitation. He knows his friends. So at the end of the when it comes to where to pay donations or whatever, it is that subject that will get his bank account. These discussions should be made upfront. That's what you're saying now before you start the work. We would really have loved to engage you more, and I super look forward to having you at some other time on the bookshelf. Mr. Kayode Adedire, thank you sincerely for coming on the bookshelf. It's a pleasure meeting you, Dami. Thank you. Dear viewer, Plan Your Epitaph Day is a weird, fun holiday celebrated on April 6th of every year. Today is allotted to plan your inscription to be made on your tomb or a grave after being buried. Everybody or everything that is born into this world must die one day. But this not to be a time for sorrow and somber reflection, but rather an opportunity to plan your last words to the world. Plan Your Own Epitaph Day is a day for reflection on your own mortality and thinking forward
to what kind of legacy we want to leave behind for those who come after us. While we will live on in the minds of our family and friends, the story of who we are will only be told to strangers in our final message to the world, left engraved in the marble tablet of our headstone. So take some time to think about where you have been, what you have done, and what you would like to say to those who come after, and start taking strides to make sure your epitaph is worth reading. And by the way, April 6th is also Have Fun at Work Day, so don't get all gloomy over endings. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Ahmadu Bello, a